Hey guys, welcome back to Sparkman Homestead. My name is Krista. I just finished doing my breakfast dishes and I'm just kind of getting some stuff ready to make, I guess, for supper, to prepare to make for supper. Getting some brown rice out because I need to get that started. For supper tonight, I thought it would be really cool to make with you guys some pot stickers. I have never made them before. So like all of my videos, we're gonna experiment today. I love trying new stuff and I love trying new stuff with you guys. So today is yet another new meal for me and I'm really hoping that this one is going to be a good one because we absolutely love pot stickers. I love the Trader Joe's pot stickers, but I'm trying to use more of local meat. Plus, I really just want to learn how to make them myself. So today we are going to make some out of, I have two different cookbooks here. There's a reason why. So today's recipe, we are going to make them out of here, out of this cookbook, The Joy of Cooking. And they are on page 93, and it's the pot stickers, and it says it makes about 50 of them. So my hope is that we'll make some for supper tonight. Then we're also going to make like a dipping sauce to go with them. And then we'll also have some to be able to put in the freezer for a quick meal another night or a quick side. This isn't really like, in my opinion, pot stickers aren't really a meal, it's more of a side to another dish. So we're gonna do a vegetable stir fry with these tonight. The reason I have out two books, I also have this cookbook, and the recipe is on page 105. It is called Pot Sticker Dumpling. I was gonna actually try to make both of them with you guys. However, this particular recipe calls for bok choy. And I went yesterday, I didn't have time to drive into Nashville or Bowling Green, so I had to go to my local grocery store, which is Walmart, and they did not have any bok choy. So, not gonna make this one today, but it is worth mentioning because it does look very, very good and I do wanna make it in the future. Maybe I'll be able to find a bok choy plant at the greenhouse and then we can plant some in the fall. So we're gonna stick with this recipe tonight. So like I said, I'm gonna do the pot stickers, we're gonna make some brown rice, and we're gonna make a vegetable stir fry tonight. So I wanna get that brown rice cooked because the other thing that I have to get done today is I need to get that freezer cleaned out. I went to go and grab some of my ground pork out of the freezer yesterday, and I had about 10 tubes of Italian sausage fly out and almost break my toes. So I realized, okay, I need to get that cleaned out because I can't get at anything right now in my freezer. And I also thought it would be really neat to kind of show you guys what we got from our whole hog. We picked it up last weekend, I think it was, maybe it was 2 weekends ago. Probably 2 weekends ago. We picked up our whole hog and I thought it would be really cool to show you guys what we got with that order. So what you can typically expect when you do order a whole hog. Now we did kind of make some of the cuts more to what we eat because we don't eat the standard cuts when you order a pig. Like I don't like pork shoulder. I find that pork shoulder, like to make pulled pork, we don't eat a lot of it. I do like pork shoulder and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute, but we don't eat the pork roast. That's the word I was looking for. So I actually did not get any pork roast, but I'll show you guys when we go back there because that has to get done. But first I want to get this brown rice started. The other reason I love this cookbook is because it's got a little bookmark in it. Any cookbook that has that is perfect. So I'm just gonna put this cookbook aside because we're not gonna do these yet. We need to get that freezer cleaned out. So the book's gonna go aside and we're gonna get this brown rice started. I like to rinse my brown rice and let it drain for about an hour before I add it into my water to boil it. The reason is because it gets all the water out of it and that way I found I have the best results with it. You do not need to let it drain for an hour. I'm just doing that because we have another project on the go. Just gonna measure out 1 cup of brown rice. And before I rinse it, I like to kind of pick out any, like, you know, ones that wouldn't, let's see here. It's hard to show you, it's literally a grain of rice, but like things like this, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it still has its husk on it, and We crunch into these and it's like you could break a tooth. It's horrible. So I'm just gonna pick some of those out. For some reason, my last batch of brown rice that I ordered had a lot of them with the shells on them. So I found that I just take a little bit of extra time when I'm in the rinsing process and just kind of pick those ones out. And it makes for a more pleasing eating experience. It's not so nice biting into the husky brown rice. So I have a 5-gallon bucket of brown rice stored up, and I'm trying to eat through it because I have realized that brown rice doesn't store the longest. If you are looking for a good storage rice, white rice is the way to go. So once I kind of get through a majority of this brown rice, I'm actually going to start to order white rice, just the organic kind from Azure Standard, and then kind of switch it up a bit so that I'm able to kind of have more of a long-term rice storage in our pantry. Okay, I think I got most of them. So what I'm going to do now is just get this rinsed off. I'm just finding a couple of other ones that aren't looking like they're the best grains. Okay, so we got it all rinsed off. I just am going to leave it sitting right here. I like to give it a couple more shakes. I'm gonna put my rice away. So then we'll come back in and make this once we get the freezer all done. I do have a video showing you guys how I make my brown rice. I think it was like one of my very first videos that I actually posted. So I can leave that linked for you guys up here or in the video description. So let's head out to the garage. I am thinking I want to actually grab a pair of, do I even have them? Yes, I do. Pair of gloves. It gets cold when your hands are in the freezer all the time, so we'll grab gloves. It's just really full right now for some reason. Our bikes are not rearranged the right way and they're taking up a lot of space. So my poor bike is back there all tucked away. The battery unfortunately died this winter. So it's kind of being babied and being constantly charged up. So, oh, I wanted to give you an update on these turkeys. So in my last video, you've seen that we picked up our turkeys. I don't know if you can see them in there. Some right there. Unfortunately, this morning, I actually had one pass away. It was looking like it was kind of lethargic the last couple of days and was kind of babying it a little bit, and it unfortunately did not make it. So that's sad. So we're down to 9 turkeys now, but they're all looking pretty good. I just have one concern about them. They're not eating a lot. I'm used to these other chicks that we actually hatched, plus the 6 from Tractor Supply that I bought when I had to get a bucket. They are just plowing through their food. These guys barely touch their food. So I don't know, maybe I was given the wrong food. I did go to my local feed mill and request a turkey chick starter. I don't know if they gave me the wrong one or not. So I think when I go back out to the Amish, I'm gonna go back out and ask him again, because these guys really are not eating hardly any food. I mean, they're eating it, but it's not like these vultures over here who are just like going through food like crazy. I mean, these guys also over here are also scratching it up and getting it everywhere and wasting it. And these guys are just not the same. I told Steven that next time we do birds, turkeys are what we are doing. Yep. They're like, okay, just so much slower than chicks. He wants back in. I'm gonna put it back in. Okay, now I have to go and wash my hands and probably get new mittens because these, I just touched turkey. They're just so much slower than chicks. I love them. I absolutely love them. Baby chicks are like on some type of like energy drink, and baby turkeys are on like a chillax, like chill mode. So I got my new gloves because I just picked that turkey up and I don't want to touch other stuff with those hands. So new gloves, let's get started. So what I think my plan of action is gonna do, I might try to actually back up this bike because it's kind of in the way. I might just leave it. We'll try to work around it. So What I'm gonna do, and I always do this with my projects, is I always empty out the freezer or empty out the cabinet, whatever I'm organizing, assess what I have, and then put it all back in an organized fashion. So we need to get these freezers. I think we will work on the chest freezer first because that has most of the biggest, bulkiest stuff in it. We'll work on getting that emptied out first, and then we'll kind of assess and then put everything back in a more organized fashion. So let's get started. So this is what I'm working with. It is completely filled to the brim. Okay, so we have it pretty much emptied out. I'm gonna leave this box in here because that is already organized. I know that that is all ground beef. And then we have 3 whole chickens here. I need to take one of those out also because we're gonna have that this week. And then this box right here is just full of like jalapeno poppers, peppers, things like that. So I already have that organized. That's pretty much a vegetable box. I cannot even really open this freezer right now because all of the Italian sausage, it just flies out whenever I try to get anything out of there. This has some kind of snow in it and I want to get it taken out just before I put stuff back in. On my last video, I mentioned to you guys that we were also getting our half a cow in a couple of months. So I have some beef bones in here. I want to kind of keep them closer to the surface because I am going to be making some beef broth this weekend with these. I'm really trying to get this freezer kind of cleaned out, getting ready for the beef that's coming. I'm also going to be making some tallow. This is just some beef fat that we have. That is also on the docket for next week to make. So I'm just kind of keeping those things put kind of close to where I can get at them right away. I might make some more chicken broth also because these are all chicken pieces and we're going to be processing those meat birds that are outside right now. We're going to be processing them at the end of May. So yeah, I need to also get some of these chicken bones and stuff cleared out to make way for the new stuff coming in. Whenever I make like a round steak or anything that has like beef bones in it that I don't need them, I take them and just put them in a Ziploc baggie. I'm actually going to, because I think I have a couple of these bags, I'm gonna make some faux or pho, I don't know how you say it, and I do apologize if I'm saying it incorrectly, but I saved these trimmings and these bones because they're excellent to make a broth to make that soup with. So that is also something that I've kind of planned to use. So because I only have 2 freezers, I have this big chest freezer and it's not big, like it's not huge. And then I have that stand-up freezer. This is kind of why I don't do a lot of freezer meals because we buy our meat in bulk. So we buy whole hogs at a time, we buy half of a cow at a time. I don't have a lot of room, as you can see, to be storing those like huge clunky freezer meals. What I use to organize my freezers is I just use these old tomato boxes. I just save them from when I get like bulk produce at the Amish because these boxes are really, really sturdy. You can use any kind of box. You just want to kind of make sure it has a heavy bottom to it because you're going to be picking it in and out of the freezer. And it's a perfect way to kind of keep your freezer organized so that I can easily just grab a box out and get to the box that I need at the bottom of the freezer instead of what I'm doing right now, just throwing individual things out of my way. So I'm gonna get the stuff out of here, or the stuff back in that I kind of need to get back in here. Oh, this is another box that I have. This is all those French fries that we made and my gnocchi that I made. I try to keep it all in this box, like potato products, so that I know kind of where they're all at here. So I have some shredded hash browns. I'm just gonna add them in that box because that's kind of a potato box. And then this box right here is where I keep my chocolate chips and like my fruit. So like I have frozen bananas in here. This This is kind of like my smoothie box, my baking box. The other thing I keep in here is those turnovers that we made and any type of like frozen cookies. They're all in this box. So I guess you could call this box my sweet box. This is our second time ordering a hog from this particular farmer. We have raised 2 hogs in the past, and the meat we got from that was so good. We pasture raised them, like we moved them to different spots. It was amazing. However, we did not have the time. Pigs are a lot of work. They get out. If your fencing is kind of not the best fencing, they get out. And because we have such crazy springs here, we actually chose to raise our pigs during the winter and spring, which I think was our mistake. Because in our back pasture, we don't have a lot of tree coverage, and it is not good to kind of raise pigs without having some type of shade for them. Pigs like coverage. So if you have like a wooded area, that is amazing to raise pigs in, but we don't have that available to us. So we had them in the pasture, and we thought maybe it would be best to do it in the winter or spring, because in that way it's not blistering hot for them. But that's our rainy season, and the fences were constantly like, we didn't have a good anchor to put them down because it was just waterlogged back there. The pigs were just living in like up to their stomachs mud, which is not good for them either. So we decided that this year we did not want to do pigs ourselves, so we ordered from this farmer. We also got cuts and things made to how we like to eat them. Like I said earlier, we're not big like pork roast eaters. I don't really like pulled pork. Steven likes pulled pork, but we don't like eat it a lot. One thing that Steven is an absolute fan of, and now I am, he made it for me one time, but it is sliced shoulder. So it's right here. It is just a very thin slice of shoulder meat, and what you do is you make this special barbecue sauce. It's like a dipping sauce, and it is very famous to Kentucky. It's Monroe County pork shoulder, and it is amazing. It's like this vinegar spicy dipping sauce, and so you put the pork shoulders, like you mop the vinegar sauce all over them, you barbecue them, and then you kind of just let them rest in this sauce, and they are so good. So we got our farmer who raises the pigs and actually does the butchering. We got him to slice all of anything that could be made into this pork shoulder to do it this way instead of getting roast. We have all of this right here. That is all shoulder meat like this. So I need to get these into like kind of a box. I ran out of boxes though, so I'm kind of looking around my garage to see if I can find one, because I need to get these all put into a box because we have a lot of those. The other thing that we don't really eat a lot of is pork chops. And I said to him, I'm like, can you just throw all of the pork chops into sausage? Because we eat a lot of ground sausage. And he's like, well, I can cut them a special way, and if you want, you can try them this time, and then next time you get a hog, you know, we'll throw them in sausage if you don't like them. So he did cut up some pork loin for us. So we do have some of those cuts, and I do have some recipes that I found that I'm gonna try. I just find that I personally don't know how to cook pork chops right. So maybe that's the problem, is me and my cooking ability and not the actual pork cut of the pork chop. But we have quite a bit here, so we're gonna try to eat it, and I'm gonna try some different recipes. And again, this is the beauty of being able to order your own, like getting your own hog butchered how you like to butcher it. I got 2 huge pork bellies here. He asked, well, how do you want your bacon? Do you want your bacon smoked? Do you want, like, how do you want it? And I said, I want pork belly, because I have this amazing maple bacon recipe that I absolutely love. So I do all of my own bacon. So he gave me 2 huge pork bellies that I'm going to have to slice in half because this is huge. I'm gonna have to slice them in half. I have 2 of them, and then just get my own bacon made, because I love making my own bacon. I love curing it myself. That way I know exactly what's going into the cure and I can kind of control all of it instead of having it just pre-made for me. We have one huge ham there. Like I think that is a 20-pound ham. So I have to break that up into a couple different pieces and cure that ham. That is an uncured ham. And then we have some ribs over there. I think there's 4 packs of just rack of ribs. And then we have 4 packs of baby back ribs here. And then we have a couple of ham hocks. I like those for doing baked beans in. And then we have some pig fat. I am finally going to be able to make lard, so I'm super happy about that. That is going to be a project next week also that I'm going to get done because I really, really want to have some lard. And it's nice because it comes pre-ground up already. So I'm going to get all of this stuff kind of organized. Again, I'm going to try to get the pork shoulder all in one bin. I have a box here right now that I'm working at getting all of our sausage in. Oh, and the other thing that I wanted to show you in here, this is my garage fridge. I have 2 hams actually curing in here that came with that order. The day we got it, we could not fit both hams in that freezer, so I actually had to take one out that day, defrost it, and get it curing, which is perfect. So we are going to this week, we're gonna smoke those up. We're gonna eat one of them this week, and then the other one I'm just gonna put in the freezer, already smoked, already cured, everything's done. So we'll throw it in the freezer, and that way we already have a ham done. I can just take it out and defrost it when I need to have a ham. So I wanna get that ham that's down there. I also want to get that cured up as well and just kind of get that out of the way so that, again, I have ready-made cured hams just to take out, thaw out, and eat without having to wait the week and a half and a bit of curing time. So that is what we got for the whole pig. It really does not look like a lot of meat when you really break it down. It's crazy how much, like you think you're getting a huge pig and you think you're gonna get all of this meat, but it's crazy how much of that pig weight is actually like skin and bones and all that stuff. And you know, that's the other thing that I did not get with this is I did not get the bones. I knew realistically I did not have space to have those bones because I prefer to use a chicken broth or a beef broth in my cooking, and I really don't gravitate towards like a pork broth. I have made it in the past, but I really don't use it. So I unfortunately did not get any bones with this order because I knew it wasn't going to be something that I would be able to use, and it would have been taking up freezer space for me at this point, and it's very limited. Let's get this stuff all back into the freezer before it starts to melt because I don't want it to melt on me. Okay guys, I am now coming to you the very next day. I was in the middle of editing this video and I realized that I did not have my stability on the camera, and it was like a rocky road. I was showing you guys what I had just done in my freezers. So I am now, again, next day, I'm gonna show you guys a quick little preview of what we got done yesterday because I can't use any of those clips. It was so shaky and I do not want to give you guys motion sickness. This is the chest freezer, and I know it does not look super organized right now, but trust me, it is really organized. So over on this side right here, we have all of our tallow stuff, our lard making stuff, our chicken bones. This is kind of our stuff that we're going to get working through in the next couple of weeks, and so this area will be cleared off. We have this big ham right here that we're gonna get cured soon, so that'll be out of here. And then these I actually have to take out today because these are pot stickers we made yesterday. I just flash freezing them. So in this box right here, this is our sweet box. So that's where we have all of these Costco muffins that we made together, our fruit, our cookie doughs, all that stuff. And then underneath that box, there's another box with the ground beef. And then over here, we have our sausages and some pork loins that didn't fit in the other freezer. And then underneath there, we have our pork shoulder. And then in this box here, that's where we have all of our potato stuff organized. I do have some sourdough bagels in here that I actually have to take out because we need to use those. And then all along the edge of here, I was able to fit those really big pork bellies and ribs and all of that stuff. Oh, and then underneath the potato box, we have a vegetable box. So that is really good for here. And then this is the stand-up freezer. And guys, I am definitely concerned about getting a half of a cow in here and 30 meat birds and 10 turkeys. So we're really gonna have to focus on getting some of this stuff potentially canned up because it is really full. And like that was almost full to the brim also. So it's kind of worrisome, but we were able to do a little bit more organization. This is all chicken stuff down here that I'm actually probably going to end up taking out and canning up. It's just pretty much chicken legs. I think there's some wings in there, which we really love wings. We will get those used up. This is just some sausage that we organized, some pork shoulder. These are some steaks that we need to get worked through. That's where I put all of the pork loin. And then these are some roasts, and I organize the ground beef up here. These are the pot stickers. I just need to get the other ones put in there. And then we have like bacon and bologna and cheese, all that stuff in there. And then this little basket here is where I keep all of my pre-made stuff, like my burgers and my meatballs and stuff. These little totes are pretty cool for organization. I purchased these at the Dollar Tree and they were only $1.25. Now they do break fairly easy because they are getting cold, but I absolutely love them for keeping stand-up freezers organized. And if I wanted to go a step above, I could even put labels on them, which I may, because that's just exciting to me, making labels. So on the door here, we have just some frozen juice, some coffee, and then just some more peppers and fruit. And then the last thing that we have in the garage is a fridge freezer that is really kind of works some days, doesn't work other days. But this is where we put all of our freezer meals in here. I store my butter in here. I have some shredded zucchini and some pre-made pesto. I put it into 1 cup serving sizes in Ziploc baggies, and we have lots of pesto in here. And then I also store my nuts in the freezer because they do go rancid. So that is what's in there. And then I showed you guys already, we do have those hams in there curing. So that is what I had yesterday that was totally too shaky for you. So now we'll get back to yesterday's video. The turkeys are eating. Yay. That makes me happy that that project is done. I'm gonna get this rice on the stove and get that cooking because it takes an hour to cook. I'm out of breath. Like, that should not make me out of breath. Goodness gracious, I need to get on that treadmill again. Anyways, let's get this rice started. While I'm waiting for that water to come to a boil, I'm just making myself some red raspberry leaf tea. This is one of my favorite teas. Sometimes to add a little bit of tartness to it, I like to add some hibiscus flowers also. It really makes it taste really nice, but I don't think I'm gonna do that today. I'm just gonna make some raspberry leaf tea and probably put just a little bit of honey in it. So I have my rice all boiling right now, and I have my timer set for 50 minutes. So I'm just gonna let this cook away, and then I actually have to go up and do some really quick computer stuff. And then once I'm done that, then I will come back down, and then we will move on to make those pot stickers for supper. I got completely carried away upstairs, and it is almost 3 o'clock now. I was hoping to have this done by 2 o'clock, but I completely got carried away with getting computer computer work done. Also, the other thing that I was doing upstairs was that I was editing the very first part of this video, me doing the freezer clean out, and I want to apologize. There's something with my garage lights that they flicker, and unfortunately in some parts of those video clips the light is like really wonky. I tried to edit some of it out, but unfortunately it wasn't correcting it, so sorry about that. So we're gonna move on to the pot stickers now. I just sliced up some cilantro. I hate slicing cilantro. I will avoid it at all costs. I did it off camera so you guys did not have to hear me complain about it while I was doing it. So we have about 1 cup of cilantro cut up here. So again, we are using the recipe from one of my favorite cookbooks. I have a lot of favorite cookbooks, but this is one of them. And it is on page 93 and it is the pot stickers. So we have 2 pounds of ground beef all thawed out here. It does not say to cook the ground beef before we do this, so we're not gonna cook it. We're gonna get everything put together in this bowl. I'm actually gonna bring you guys down so you can see what I'm doing, because it's kind of, my kitchen's a weird angle and you can't really see very well. So I'll bring you guys down and show you exactly what we are putting into this bowl. Okay, so we have our 2 pounds of ground beef in this bowl. And then we are going to add 4 garlic cloves minced. So I am gonna use my favorite go-to, my Costco minced garlic. We will put maybe that much, like a heaping teaspoon of garlic. Should be good. It says a 1-inch piece of fresh ginger peeled and minced. So this is how I always do my ginger. I buy it like this, just in bulk from Azure Standard. I freeze it right away when I get it. It makes it super easy to work with. So instead of taking the 1-inch piece like the recipe calls for and mincing it up, we don't like to bite on a piece of ginger, and I honestly can't get it finely minced enough. So I'm just gonna grate this in. It's fine to be grated in, and that way it's smaller pieces and there's not a chance of us biting into a huge piece of ginger. Plus, freezing it makes it super easy to grate. So we're just gonna grate in what we think to be about the 1-inch piece. And again, I did get most of the peelings off of what we're grating it in. There we go. So I grated about a 1-inch piece of it. It calls for a 1/4 cup of minced raisin or dried apricots. Stephen hates raisins, and I'm not a super fan of dried apricots, plus I don't even have them. So I am gonna omit them and hope that it's okay to do that. I don't know. It could be a mistake, but we're gonna admit them because I know that Stephen does not like them, so we're not gonna put them in this recipe. We are also going to omit the scallions that this recipe calls for because Stephen also does not like onions. He doesn't like the texture of onions. I need to specify that. When I say that he does not like onions, he likes the taste of onions perfectly fine. We can handle it. He doesn't like the texture of it. When he bites into it, he says it almost feels like he's biting into like tin foil. Irritates his teeth. So I don't cook with them, but I do cook a lot with granulated onion and onion powder. So we are still gonna get the onion flavor in. We're just not gonna use like a minced onion. So this recipe does call for 2 scallions minced. So again, I'm just gonna put some of this in so that we can get that onion flavor still, because I would imagine that scallions would be amazing in this. And then we need to get 1 cup of cilantro minced. So we have this here. And if you guys are new here, because I realize that I do have a lot of new subscribers, and thank you and welcome. But if you are new here, Stephen is my husband. So I know I just say it like nonchalant. So if you hear me say that, that's who I'm referring to. Okay, so we've omitted the raisins, we've omitted the scallions. So we're just gonna sprinkle in a little bit of this granulated onion in here. And then we need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We're just gonna use this Redmond's real salt. And then 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper. And then we need 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. So this is what we're gonna use. Need 1.5 teaspoons of chili paste. So we are going to use this. And then we need 1.5 teaspoons of toasted sesame oil. So we're gonna get this all stirred up. One thing I've found with this cookbook is that sometimes for wet ingredients, I find that it's not a lot. Like I find that I'm always having to go back and add a little extra stuff. So right now, just stirring this, it is very fragrant, like very amazingly fragrant. It smells like cilantro, ginger, and sesame oil, which smells amazing. So I don't think I'm gonna have to add anything. I really wish I could like test it, but it's raw meat, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm wondering if we should like maybe be proactive and just go in and add a little bit more oyster and a little bit more of that chili paste. I think we're gonna do that. We're just gonna add a touch bit more of, that's good, of this oyster sauce, and then maybe just like a little bit more of this chili sauce. We like heat, so the chili sauce is not gonna be bothersome for us. I think that's good. And I'm not gonna add any more sesame oil because sesame oil, a little goes a long way with that stuff. So you really don't need to add extra in. Okay, so we have that all combined. Then the next thing that we need is some wonton wrappers. I just got these. You can find these at Walmart in the section, it's usually in the produce section, and it's over where they have like the dairy-free stuff, like the dairy-free cheese, dairy-free mayonnaise, all that stuff, usually over in that section. So got those from Walmart. We're gonna use those. And then I have 1 egg here, and then I'm just gonna lightly beat this egg. I am gonna get this surface kind of cleaned off a bit before we go to the next step because there's just kind of sauce everywhere and I wanna be able to make the pot stickers on a clean surface. So let's get this cleaned up. It says to combine everything together, which we did. It says to beat the eggs, beat the egg, which we did, and we also need a pastry brush. I have a baking sheet lined here with a silicone mat. Remember, we're gonna freeze half of these that we're making today. Actually, probably more than half we're gonna freeze. So it says assemble in batches so that the egg does not dry out. Place a rounded teaspoon of the mixture. So this is the mixture. That's probably too much. Let's try that much. And it says to place it in the center. Oh, I already screwed up. It says, before you put that mixture in, it says to place this egg wash around the edges of the wonton wrappers. And it says to fold it over. How are pot stickers made again? They're like this, right? That's way too much filling. So next one we know we can't put that much filling in it. I have to take some of that out. First ones are always not gonna turn out right. Fill that up. And then it says, fold it over and press the edges together. Oh, that's what we're left with. I don't know, is that a pot sticker? I can't even remember what a pot sticker looks like. I had to Google the image of a pot sticker, so like that. I don't know how to get that. Like, do you fold it over like this? Or do you, like, how do you do that? It doesn't give you directions in this cookbook on exactly how to do the fold. Just says fold it over. We're just gonna do it the way, like a dumpling kind of, like not a dumpling, but like this. We're gonna do it like this, and then we're gonna just say that that's a pot sticker. In the picture, it looks like they've like folded it like this. Do they this? That is just a mess. Let's try this again. I feel like these are not big enough sheets. Okay, so we've got the egg on. We're literally going to use like a drop like that. Now, if we fold it in this way, fold it over, can we do that like pretty fluting? How do they do that fluting? Okay, that's how we're gonna do it, guys. There we go, like that. We're gonna fold it over and just kind of do it pretty like that. I think the problem was I was putting too much filling in it. Okay, let's try this again. It's kind of like you want to bring it all to the center. They do rip easy too, so you got to be careful when making them. So I'm going to get the rest of these made up. I'm going to probably use the whole package here. And again, this makes way too much filling for just one package. So if you are going to make them, I might even get Steven to run to Walmart when he gets home and pick me up another one of these packages, because that's not going to be enough wraps for that amount of filling. So I'm going to get these all done, and then we'll come back and then we will cook them, because it says you got to boil them and then fry them. And then there is directions in here to make a dipping sauce. So we might try to make that dipping sauce also. So I will be back with you guys when we get these all done. So I actually changed my mind. What I'm going to do is I made up this many so far. I want to check and see if I even like the taste of it before I make a whole bunch of them. So what we're going to do is we are going to cook up a little bit of them. We're going to make a dipping sauce. The dipping sauce that was in the cookbook, I was not a fan of it. So I just put in Potstickers dipping sauce into Google, and I'm just going to make the very first recipe that comes up because it looks like I would like it. So that's gonna kind of be the plan. That way I'm not making up a whole bunch of these and then have the flavor not even be what we like. What I have in a bowl right here is I have a 1/4 cup of water. I will leave this particular recipe that I am doing online here. I will leave it linked in the description for you. I don't know how it's gonna be. I've never made it before. So in true fashion, you know the words, it's an experiment. So let's get this started. I'm gonna get out a little whisk here. Okay, so like I said, we have a 1/4 cup of water in this bowl. I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of soy sauce to this. And then we need to have 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar. I'm gonna use this stuff. It also says that you can use that Chinese black vinegar if you have that available. It calls for, what does it say, 2 teaspoons of sesame oil. Get that in. I love the smell of this stuff. Now it also says 1 tablespoon of green onions. We are not going to do that. We're going to omit that part. And then 2 teaspoons, sorry, my arm's in the way, 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. 1 clove of garlic, minced. 1/4 teaspoon of fresh ginger minced. Again, we'll just grate it here. We need a 1/4 teaspoon of sriracha sauce. I think that's everything, and then we'll whisk it together. Let's do a test and see how it is. I think that actually needs more ginger and it needs more sriracha. The soy sauce and the sesame oil in this dipping sauce are very strong. That's why I didn't add any more of them, but I felt like it was missing the ginger and the heat. So that's why we added that. Again, I'll leave the recipe linked for you. On the stove top here, we have a large pot of water. We're gonna get that to come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, we will put these in, and it does say to work in small batches, and it says to boil them for 7 to 8 minutes. Set aside the boiled pot stickers and drain them. And then it says that we need to heat some oil, some peanut oil. We don't have peanut oil in this house, so we'll use some avocado oil. And then it says sear the pot stickers until brown on the bottom, adding more oil if necessary. And then it says to serve with dipping sauce. So we'll wait for this water to come to a boil, and then we will get them put in there. Water is coming to a boil. I'm gonna grab a slotted spoon to put these in. It doesn't say to salt it or anything. Was doing the egg wash on this mat, so they're kind of sticking to this. I've actually switched and I'm doing it on a cookie sheet now. That way they're not gonna stick to here. So we'll just get the rest of them put in here. Hopefully this is a small enough batch. Okay, and then we'll set the timer for 8 minutes. come back when they're done. Our 8-minute timer went off, so we're gonna take these off the heat and just drain them. Set them aside for a minute, and then I'm gonna turn this heat down to low, and then get some avocado oil on here so that we can get these fried up. It says to use about a tablespoon of peanut oil to fry them in. Okay, just add these in. Kind of falling apart a little bit. They're still very hot. Let's see how cooked these are on the bottom. I have it on pretty low heat. That one's completely fallen apart. Well, we have one good one in here. That's perfect. Over here, this one's really fallen apart. Yep, they're done. Have one that kind of looks like the picture. Kind of. So I realized how to get these to kind of fold like a pot sticker. But you put this stuff in the middle, you fold it over, and then all I've been doing is just squishing it in like that. And then voila, works. Squish it in. They're not the prettiest thing, but honestly, I'm not making these for a party. I'm not making them for a restaurant. I'm literally just making them for Steven and I. So it's the true judge is how they actually taste. So let's see. Probably gonna burn my mouth, but these are really good. Really, really good. It would taste way better if it had the onions in it. And I think by adding those raisins or apricots, it gives it a little bit of a sweet taste in it. So I think what I'm gonna do with the rest of those is I'm actually gonna modify it and I'm gonna put more oyster sauce in it, because the oyster sauce gives it a little bit more of a sweet taste. And because we did not add the raisins or the apricots, I think that's what it's missing. So we're gonna go with the rest of the ones that we're gonna make, we're gonna add the oyster sauce, but that's delicious. That is definitely delicious. I like it. I don't know if you can see the inside of it. Really good. So I am going to finish getting the rest of those done and put into the freezer. And then we're gonna have our stir fry tonight with the brown rice. It's gonna be an amazing meal. I wanna thank you guys so much for coming along today while I got my freezer all organized and when we tried another new recipe. This one, again, definitely a winner, but if I were you making it and you guys like raisins, add them in, because I think that's kind of what it's missing, that I think. And then also the onions, I think by adding the scallions in, it would make a huge difference in the taste of it. But give it a try. It's, like I said, it's a really good recipe, and I will leave the dipping sauce recipe in the description for you guys. Thanks so much again for coming along, and I hope you have a great day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you on the next video. Bye guys.